The day that we were recording, everyone was so anxious to that day, so it was really fun.
It was not the first time these students had been in a recording studio. They were also part of Hawaii Synergistic Day, a music video project created to promote the aloha spirit.
The studio that we did the recording for the Synergistic Day, the studio that's probably one of the nicest studios I've ever seen. And for sure it's one of the nicest studios in the state. We walked in there in awe, and the studio was just beautiful.
It was very amazing. I mean, the Synergy Day was very fun. We got to meet a lot of Hawaii performers, and I got to be a part of something very historic.
Music will continue to be an important part of the Kamehameha curriculum. It's recognized that the benefits extend far beyond the rehearsal hall. So this summer, make time to see Disney's Lilo and Stitch. And when the lights come up, take a look around. You might be sitting next to a rising star. With the start of this new year, the Kamehameha School's Board of Trustees elected a new chairman. In our next story, we'll visit both the new and the outgoing chairman of the board. Retired Admiral Robert Kihune is a man accustomed to dealing with challenges. His 35 years in the Navy prepared him well for handling controversial situations. So when this 1955 Kamehameha School's graduate was appointed as interim trustee of Kamehameha, he was a logical choice for chairman of the board.
As a chair, my job was to keep focus on two things. One, to do all the necessary things to deal with the controversy, which was the court actions, and we're dealing with the IRS. And secondly, to ensure that equal amount of time was spent to continue to run the organization, because Kamehameha could not stop at that point, just to focus on the controversy.
Kihune and his colleagues began their time at Kamehameha as special purpose trustees, whose only job was to deal with the Internal Revenue Service and tax matters. But when the former trustees were removed, all of that changed.
I think the greatest challenge that we had at that point was to get the trust and confidence of all of our staff and our stakeholders that we were here to do what is right for the estate.
Kihune served the schools well and was selected a permanent trustee. His new colleagues, Doug Ng, Diane Plotz, Constance Lowe, and Nainoa Thompson also chose him as chairman of the board.
But then he said, in the next breath, well, we're going to rotate it next year so that whoever's vice chairman this year is going to become the chairman next year.
I think the organization can benefit from each of those people as the chair. And so that's what I proposed when I first came in. And I know that some of the trustees kind of went, had a second thought about it, but I think they're all on board.
Trustee Ng says he's assuming his leadership position at a time when Kamehameha Schools is strategically driven and strategically managed.
We have set goals and benchmarks that we hope to achieve in 5 years. And those are the targets not only for the trustees, but for the executive, headmasters, teachers, and educators. And it's very ambitious.
We got to get some of those children that will never be able to afford a good education. They're not by any means have lower mental capacity. They just don't have the opportunities, they don't have the environment by which they can grow and become what they want to be.
When you think about how our children of Hawaiian ancestry are educated, most of them are educated in the DOE. Most of the Hawaiian kids will never walk on Kapalama Campus. They will never dine at Akahi Dining Hall. Yet they are children of Hawaii as well. And we need to extend our services so that we can reach them.
I really support what this board is trying to do, is trying to reach out, trying to touch the children in need that really truly need help, because I feel that there's a lot of other children out there that in fact, don't have a need as great as some of them. And so I'd like to see us focus more on those really needy children and not leave them behind.
When you think about what it takes to run a school campus, teachers, textbooks, and classroom supplies probably come to mind pretty quickly. But there's a lot more that goes into operating this Kapalama campus. High above the city of Honolulu, the Kapalama campus of Kamehameha School sits on more than 600 beautiful and hilly acres. Several thousand students from preschool to high school come here each weekday. And then there are the students and staff who live here.
Well, this campus here is like a small town. We have over 550 students living on campus throughout the year. I have 53 families living on campus. So what we have to do is provide them service like any city resident.
Services like garbage pickup and mail delivery. Security guards who work 24/7 each and every day of the year. And there's more.
We also have our own water system. I have 2 wells, 3 reservoirs on the campus, and all water services on the campus are provided by Kamehameha Schools. In addition, we have carpenters, our tradespeople that provide maintenance service. We have 3 gymnasiums, swimming pool, playing fields like any Parks and Recreation department of the city.
Kamehameha is the only school in the state of Hawaii which owns and operates its own fleet of buses. Ray Pagan is one of 11 drivers responsible for transporting 1,400 children to and from this campus each school day. The drivers also run shuttles on campus, taking secondary students back and forth between middle and upper campus. Ray drives the Waianae route. He's on the road 140 miles a day, spending a lot of time on his bus and with his kids.
And then I take pictures on the bus. I bring my camera and I take pictures of the shuttles, and then I put it up with the kids. And then I just grab it. And then they come, oh, can I put my picture? I say, sure. You like show up the picture and whatnot. And then what happening is, when they older, oh, this is what I look like. I get kids from when they were kindergarten, right? I put the date and the name on top so they know it. So the kid, hey, we seen your picture when you was kindergarten. You ugly, things like that. But they end up being so good looking after that. I see what happens.
Ray is a true professional. Older kids rushing for seats created a safety hazard for his younger passengers. So Ray assigned all of his kids seats and did a lot more.
I take pride working with everything I do, I want to coordinate with my business. So I put stainless steel plates on my bus while I take care of the bus, you know what I mean? I added, I put this box here, I put stainless steel, I put a 10-disc stereo for the kids, 10-disc stereo. I put this here to keep them entertained, you know what I mean? They read these, they really keep them busy. And then I put some good sayings in there, and the kids, even the parents, oh, that's good, I put up the Lord upstairs, I put a lot of stuff about it. I'm a Christian myself. Yeah.
It's the kids, says Ray, that give him the inspiration to work so hard at his job. Working hard is something the food service folks at Kapalama do each and every day. There are 2 cafeterias and 3 dining halls on campus to feed day students, boarders, faculty, and staff. That works out to 3,300 lunches daily. Fixing food that is nutritious and healthy has its challenges.
Yeah, we've reduced the fat content primarily, the sodium content, the sugar content, quite a bit since I've been here, since 1984. We find that there's a certain line between student acceptability and the fat content. So we can only go so far with healthier foods, and then the kids begin not to eat.
In spite of all of the challenges of running such a large and complex campus, Operations Director Sam Hata says that he's never had to close this campus.
Whether it's a water break or electrical break, we've been always able to respond to the emergency, whether it's 1 a.m. in the morning, and get it fixed so that the class can go on next day. I'm just proud of our children. That's what really makes it heartwarming, makes everything worthwhile.
None of what we do would be possible if not for the vision of our founder, Bernice Pauahi Bishop. As Kamehameha Schools has done each year since 1888, we honored Pauahi during ceremonies held on her birthday, December 19th. It is the day in the Kamehameha School's calendar most steeped in tradition. On this Founders Day, as with decades of Founders Days before, the day begins in Kekuhaupio Gym. The entire student body, returning alumni, faculty and staff, gather for a ceremony that highlights Pauahi's devotion to God and her love of music and culture. Founders Day observances continue at Mauna Ala, where members of the senior class are joined by alumni, faculty, staff, and members of the Royal Societies. Here at Pauahi's gravesite, she is honored with gifts of song, lei, and the red roses, which were her favorites. This is a day of reflection and a time to give thanks. Kapalama Headmaster Michael Chun says the risk is that we forget about Pauahi the rest of the year. We can't do that, he says. We must remind ourselves to honor her each and every day, not by song or dance, but in what we do and how we care for one another. The true flowers of Pauahi are the children of Kamehameha schools, children who, thanks to her generosity and foresight, will grow into good and industrious men and women.
These are exciting times for Kamehameha schools as we move full steam ahead to implement our strategic plan. Thanks to the input and involvement of Kamehameha Ohana members from across the country, we've got a plan designed to improve the well-being of all Hawaiians.
So if we're going to make real progress in that effort, we have to look for collaborations. We have to be part of helping build the capacity within the community.
Kamehameha School's strategic plan was created with the ideas and energy generated in meetings like this one held on the windward side of Oahu.
Major priority here is to extend the reach.
KS leaders heard people asking for more services, for more community involvement, for more Hawaiians to be part of the Kamehameha family.
We'll preserve the quality programs we have, so we will obviously invest in our current 3 major campuses. We're going to expand early childhood, expand career development or extension programming.
Within the next 5 years, Kamehameha plans to provide early education services to 1/3 of all eligible Hawaiian children up to 4 years of age. Other parts of the plan were announced late last year in a standing room only news conference. One of the most dramatic efforts, an innovative collaboration with the Department of Education and other public entities, with Kamehameha operating public schools in communities with large populations of Hawaiians.
Certainly our schools are suffering and we need a lot of help, and everything that Kamehameha schools can do would be a help.
Kamehameha spending plans call for over $21 million to be spent on strategic initiatives in the first year, but those dollars are going to be leveraged.
And in that regard, we intend to provide funding for that effort. From our own foundation, we intend to seek funding from other foundations in Hawaii and outside of Hawaii as this effort moves forward.
So now you have a DOE school run by a brand new entity, driven by the local community, and now has a budget for what a DOE originally offered, plus a matching fund from Kamehameha schools. And we're telling the community, let us know how we can help you. You take the leadership to run this enterprise.
State School Superintendent Pat Hamamoto says initially the DOE-KS partnership could be running 2 or 3 schools together, and the first school could be operating as soon as the fall of 2003.
I would expect to see that the best practices in education are being implemented. I would see professional development raised to new heights. I would expect the constant coaching and mentoring to go on regarding the professional development. And I would expect that immediately you would start to see changes in those indicators that demonstrate that the system is progressing.
And people say, oh, you're a little Pollyannish about this stuff. It's not going to happen. I don't think that forecast is true. I think there's a sufficient chemistry throughout the entire state, but more importantly in the people, to make this happen.
If you'd like to hear more about the strategic implementation plan or share your mana'o, you can participate in the following community meetings. On the Big Island, meetings are scheduled for Thursday, February 7th at the Kea'au Multipurpose Room on the East Hawaii campus, Friday, February 8th at the Waimea Middle School, Saturday, February 9th at Kealakehe Middle School. On Maui, there's a meeting planned for Tuesday, February 19th at the King Kaumuali'i Elementary School. All of the meetings begin at 5:30 p.m. You can also find this list on our website at imua.tv.
Myron Pinky Thompson served as a Kamehameha Schools trustee for 20 years, and as he did for most of his professional life, during that time he worked tirelessly on behalf of Hawaiians, Hawaii, and all of Hawaii's people. He passed away late last year, but he left us a beautiful and lasting legacy.
In the fall of last year, Pinky Thompson was honored by the Polynesian Voyaging Society for his lifetime service of caring for others.
A successful voyage starts with knowing where you want to go. Our job now is to marama, take care of planet Earth and its people, using the principles of successful voyaging.
Even in the aftermath of September 11th, the event drew hundreds of people from all walks of life, a testament to the enormous wake he created in his voyage to Ma'alama, Hawaii.
Myron Pinky Thompson has been the force and catalyst for positive change in the Hawaiian community and in all of Hawaii.
I wanted to say a special thank you to him because I'm a graduate of Kamehameha, and all of his good work at Kamehameha certainly has touched many lives, including mine.
I want to congratulate you and thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you've done, not only for the Voyaging Society, not only for the Bishop Estate, Kamehameha Schools, or the host people of our state, but for all of us.
Pinky's professional life was spent caring for others. He started out as a social worker at the Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center. Fred Cachola was in the 8th grade when he first met Pinky.
I saw this guy sitting in a car. And he looked at me and I looked at him and I said, that must be the guy. And so I walked over and he opened the door and he says, "Hi, are you Fred Cachola?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "I'm your new caseworker, I'm Myron Thompson." And he shook my hand.
It was the beginning of a friendship that would span a lifetime. When Cachola graduated from college and began teaching, Pinky came calling.
And he said, "How about serving on the advisory board for the Lilinoe Trust?" And I said, "Why not? Yes, yes." And I was rather nervous because I've never served on boards before. And anyway, I said, "Okay." He said, "Yeah, Fred, it's time to pay back." I said, "Okay, time to pay back."
Cachola and Thompson arrived at Kamehameha schools at about the same time in the early 1970s. Thompson's team at Kamehameha included Ormond Hammond, who worked on research and strategic planning.
The main theme was just to raise the whole level of well-being of the Hawaiian population. And he believed that that started just as early as life itself started and continued on through.
He had gone from being concerned about individuals and families to communities, to large segments of Hawaii. And it was quickly clear to me that this was a man who was very much devoted to the well-being not just of one portion of that community, but of the entire community.
Myron Bennett Thompson, or Pinky as he is known to all of us, was a bass player. The bass is not an out-front instrument. It's a steady background instrument that keeps the tune in time and moves the tune from start to finish.
Pinky would have preferred that we be happy, that we should celebrate his life. And I think it is well that we remember him for his deeds, his wisdom, and his leadership.
We're going to have a program here, and then after that, simply we'd like to ask any of those who would like to go out in the ocean to spread my dad's ashes.
It's a legacy you're not going to read about. It's a legacy you're not going to see. It's a legacy you're going to feel.
What I'll really remember is that feeling of being galvanized into action. And like, yeah, let's get going. That sense that, we can keep putting one foot in front of another and get somewhere.
The legacy of Myron Thompson, I think, is that the deep commitment and love that he had for people, for Hawaiians, for Hawaii, for all of us.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Imua TV. On behalf of everyone in the Kamehameha Schools Ohana, mahalo for spending this time with us. Don't forget to visit our website at imua.tv and drop us a note if you've got some ideas on what we should include next time. Ahui ho.